44 days until the presidential election, and while Hillary Clinton pushes to bring back the death tax, Fortune 100 executives aren't showing their support for Trump, though.
So what does this mean for the candidates? Here with some answers, here with all the answers, honestly, is Charles Payne from the Fox News Business Network and a hero to us here on the set. So, Charles,
yes.
A recent survey by the Wall Street Journal found that out of Fortune 100 CEOs, let me see if I remember the number. Oh, yeah, 0 gave money to Donald Trump. What is going on? They're supporting a candidate who was thinking about picking Elizabeth Warren as her running mate.
Well, I think you could put him, for lack of a better term, 3 baskets. Okay.
Okay, good. I like that. We're back to baskets.
The first group would be the CEOs. These are large multinational companies that do business all around the world. So they are worried about a potential trade war.
Yes.
There's no doubt about it. You know, most people watching this show probably watching it on its TV made out of this country, and the reason they bought it was because it was a good TV and a low price. That's how most of these businesses want to operate as well. Secondly, I think the status quo. They do very, very well under a big government where there's a lot of money sloshing around. And thirdly, they know Hillary Clinton. They have great relationships with her. And many of them, by the way, don't believe her anti-business rhetoric. They actually think that she would be a lot friendlier, particularly to Wall Street, than the campaign trail.
They've gotten very rich during the Obama years.
They've gotten very rich, yeah, absolutely. No one's really paid a heavy, on the upper echelon of society, no one's taken a hit.
All right, so let's talk about the death tax as if we're not taxed enough. Here's where Trump stands. He says repeal the death tax. First, $10 million capital gains tax-free. Lower business tax rate from 35% to 15%. Clinton, on the other hand, increase inheritance tax to 65% for largest estates. Lower capital gains exemption to $3.5 million. 2 different visions here.
2 very different visions, and I got to tell you, on the death tax part, the part that bothers me is not the 65% on estates of $500 million. Those folks know how to get around it. Believe me, if you can make $500 million, if you've got that kind of money, you know how to get around it. You know, there's the bill. You know, you can set up a foundation
or whatever.
Nobody's
going to pay that.
Right. It's the lower end that I'm concerned about. The lower end that's been moved down to $3.5 million. That's a relatively successful person who opened a business at 20 years old, hauling trash, and by the time they die, they've got 15 trucks in 4 states. You know what I mean? It's your typical American success story. You know, from rags to riches. That won't have the ability to pass it on to the heirs. It's also your farmers. It's new wealth that I'm concerned about that won't be able to generate, you know, long-term sustained wealth for future generations. So if you're already extraordinarily wealthy, fine. But if you're just now ramping it up, if you're just getting a piece of that American pie on the upper echelon, you're actually being punished for it, not rewarded.
What about the criticism against Trump's plan is that it doesn't do enough to address the middle class? But then his point there about the 35 down to 15%. How do you see that shaping up?
That's the business side of. I mean, honestly, if I was in a Trump campaign, I would have small business at 15%. Large businesses at 25%, so we have less on the deficit side. I don't like the you know, higher deficits. I want to see debt come down. On the income tax side, Hillary Clinton will argue that, hey, Donald Trump is offering successful businesses a lower tax rate than the average middle class family. But ultimately, what the Donald Trump plan is about is reigniting what I call and some call the animal spirits of our society, and that's if I make a check and I get to keep substantially more of it, I'm going to spend it. I'm going to put it to work. I'm not going to be so afraid that I put it in a coffee can somewhere and it doesn't circulate in our economy.
Or give it to a good cause.
Or give it to a good cause. But sometimes that good cause is, you know what, put my kids through college. Right. So, you know, so there's a big difference between the economy we have right now, where they try to give the illusion of success, you know, and they want what they call the virtuous cycle. So we believe we're doing well, and then we spend money we don't have. How about we just spend the money that we actually earn? Right. That's a pretty good concept.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
It's a pretty good slogan, by the way. Donald Trump, the candidate of animal spirits.
Charles Payne.
Reignite him.
Thank you.
It's right there beneath the surface.
Catch Charles on the Fox
News Network. Out there on the surface.